Hey YouTube, how you going? Hope all has been well. It's good to be back. I have been a bit sick recently, but in the meantime, this arrived. So you would have seen the unboxing video and a quick look-see at what it all is. This is going to be a more in-depth look at all the figures. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notifications button. That way you won't miss any future videos. So let's have a look-see. If you've seen the other video, you've already seen inside it, but this is pretty much what it looks like. So I think we should get stuck into it and have a look at each figurine. And we'll do that by starting off with the 1989 Batman. Okay, so here we have the 1989 Batman, and if we take a closer look, the head sculpt is pretty good. Wouldn't overly say it looks like Keaton, but I actually kind of really like it. The cowl looks good. So the head can move from the neck. The cowl can't move. It can't come off either. The cape, anything I don't really like, as you can see here, is the cape doesn't go all the way down to the front. So you can't do that classic look that he has with the cape right across him and covering his arms. He also moves from his halfway up his chest, from his torso, moves around his waist where the belt is. The belt cannot move. Can move from his shoulders up and down and out. And you can move his hands from the wrist on both sides. There are no other hands with these, so the pose they have is pretty much what it is. The boots can move pretty good. There's even actually, you can even actually move his toes, which I haven't really seen before in a figure. But that's pretty cool. The boots look good. Pretty happy with the sculpt. Overall, I think the sculpt is really good on the 89 Batman. So what do I think of it overall? I actually really like the 89 Batman. Apart from his face not looking too much like Keaton. But the sculpt actually looks really good. Pretty happy with this one. Okay, so that was the 89 Batman. Now let's move on to Val Kilmer, Batman Forever. And this is the sonar suit. So this is the Val Kilmer, Batman Forever sonar suit. And I actually really like this figure. It looks pretty cool. The color of the suit really matches what it looked like in the movie, especially under the right light. You might not be able to see it in the video, but it looks really cool. I really like it. Would have preferred the Panther suit, to be honest. I think that's a bit more iconic. Most people will know that more. But I actually really like this. So let's take a bit of a closer look. The head looks pretty good. Again, the head moves around. Wouldn't say it overly looks like Val Kilmer, but I like it. The cowl, the headpiece, where the cape attaches, it looks really good. The chest is nice. Again, the arms, they're pretty much the same in terms of their actuation and the way they move. They're all the same. The toes move on the boots. The hands are the same. They're in the same pose as, I think they're all in the same pose as well. They've all got their fists clenched. And as I said before, there's no other hands available with them. So the chest moves again from the belt, from the torso. So the actuation is all the same, but I do really like this one. I think it looks great. And although I would have preferred the Panther suit, I think they've done a good job with this, especially nailing that colour, that silver blue. It looks really cool. So that's the Val Kilmer Sonar suit, Batman Forever. Let's move on to George Clooney. So this is the George Clooney from Batman and Robin. It's not the suit that he wears at the end because it doesn't have all the silver on it. Thank God I didn't do that one because it's horrible. It's pretty much a Panther suit. They did use the same suit for this movie, except the emblem is the same color as the suit. So there's no background on it, which I'm not sure why they did that, but I suppose it had to be somewhat different. So if we take a closer look, again, the actuation is all the same. You can see the cowl is different though, so that's good. It certainly doesn't look like George Clooney's face, but I suppose with the size of it, it's a bit hard to do that. Again, they're in the same poses, so you can't really do any other poses other than with the clenched fists. But you can clearly see the suit. It looks good. It's not my favourite suit by any means, but I think the bat logo on the boots is a bit weird. Not something I overly noticed, to be honest. But the boots bats have the Batman logo on it. Don't really like that. But yeah, that's the George Clooney. So that's the George Clooney suit. Let's move on to the Dark Knight. So let's move on to the Dark Knight suit. Not a huge fan of this suit, but this actually looks really good. I think they've done a great job with this. So I'm not a huge fan of this suit, but it looks really good here. I think they've done a really good job with it. Let's have a closer look. I think their face and their head sculpt is really good. I think that kind of does look a little bit like Bale. The movement on it is fantastic. I mean, it does kind of look like a motorcycle suit, but looks really good, and with the gold belt it really stands out. Now, this is the suit that he wears towards the end of that movie. But the detail on it is really good. Especially like even on the back, the detail is great. And again, the actuation is all the same. The tiptoes move. The legs from the knees, 2 lots. But yeah, I really like this figure. I think it looks fantastic. I think they did a great job. So that's the Dark Knight figure. Let's move on to Batfleck. Okay, so let's move on to the Batfleck. Now this one is from the Justice League. So I think they did a pretty good job with this suit as well. The sculpt looks pretty good. Let's have a closer look at it. I think the head sculpt on this and the cowl looks fantastic. It does look like Ben Affleck's head. The shape and everything looks great. The small ears. I'm not a huge fan of Batfleck or this suit, but I think the figure looks good. You can certainly see the big puffy chest, the big arms and the big legs. It's a standout from all the others, that's for sure. Because he is a lot bulkier, like these arms are pretty big. So it's good that we can tell that it's actually a lot bigger. I think that's great. All the capes on these are pretty much the same. The fabric is just like cotton. So they don't really sit that great. You can't really pose the capes in any way because they're too light. But I suppose you could probably upgrade them. I don't know if we can get the cowls off to be able to get the cape off. I'm not sure if the cowls come off. But it would be good to upgrade the capes at some point, I think. But otherwise, they're pretty good. I do really like them. So this is the Batfleck one. So that's the Batfleck one from the Justice League. There's one more to go, and let's move on to the Pattinson. Okay, so there's one more figure to go. Let's move on to the Batman, Robert Pattinson. So here we have Robert Pattinson from the Batman. Now I do like this suit in general, but I actually really like it in this figure too. I think it looks good. So let's have a closer look at this one, and I think the detail in this one for its size is really good. I think the head is great. The lips look a little bit reddish. Not sure why that is, but I think the head looks good. Does it look like Robert Pattinson? Not really, but that's really hard to get in these size figures. So I think what they've done is fine, but the detail in the suit is really good. So as you can see on the arms, the shoulder pads, these are actually rubber. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Again, the poses with the hands are just a clenched fist. The fins are just rubber, so they're not sharp, which is good. The bit around the neck is not rubber, but it looks good. And I think overall the rest of the suit looks great. The boot spats. The belt isn't too bad. I think the belt could have been a little better. Probably they've just painted it black, but I do like it. I think it looks good, especially the things on the wrist, forearm. But yeah, I do really like this one as well. So that is Robert Pattinson from the Batman, and that's all the figures. But we should take a look now at the light. So that's all the figures taken care of. Let's have a look at what's left. And in this little box here, take the lid off, we have some cards, and it's all of them. It's all of the Batman and a little story on the back. We'll have a closer look at these. So if we start with the 89 Batman, it's a nice image there, and on the back it just has a data file, which is all of them. There's Batman Forever, Batman from Batman and Robin, Batman The Dark Knight, Batman Justice League, and Batman from the Batman. So there's some pretty cool cards. The pictures of those are actually on the back of the box as well, but I think they look great. You got some stands here for all the figures to stand up with. So there's 6 of those, so you can you just put the feet in one of the end caps there, and they can stand up. And so here we have the light. Okay, so the light just goes in like that, and you have the light, and it does light up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but so the light does light up. You can't change the brightness or anything of that. That's just how bright it is. So if we put it like onto here, you can't really see that much with it, but it looks pretty cool when it's dark. You could have this and light up a figure. So what you get are 3 extra covers, and they go on the inside there. You just take one out and you put the other one in, and it's the different Batman symbol for the Batmans. The 89 version here is used for Batman Forever and for Batman and Robin. So you've got that one for those 3. Then you have the Batfleck one. You have the Dark Knight one. And you have the Batman one. Okay, so that's everything to do with the kit. Final thoughts. So I do really love it. It's something that when I saw it, I had to have it. So I pre-ordered it through Culture Shock Collectibles here in Australia. I didn't want to miss out on it. Let's put it that way. So I just pre-ordered it as soon as I saw it released, and I'm really happy to have it. I think I'll maybe create a diorama, maybe a rooftop diorama to display them, so I can have the light there, maybe a city picture in the background and a little rooftop there. I think that would be great. But look, I think if you love the Batman movies and you love collecting figurines, then I think it's a must-have. Even though there are some things there that maybe they could have done better, or they could have had some different suits, but overall I think that it's really good to have. And if you're a Batman collector, then I think you should get it. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button so you don't miss any future videos. Leave a comment down below. Let me know which is your favourite figure. But for now, I'll see you later. Take care.